Bắt đầu.
Hello everyone, we are Group 1 from Tutorial 2 including 4 members. Tạ Diệp Nguyên Anh, Đỗ Hồng Ánh, Trần Thái Bảo, and Đỗ Minh Trang. Our presentation is about the structure of Bank for Investment and Development of Vietnam, which is short for BIDV. We divide our presentation into 5 parts. However, we just focus on performing the data analysis in the 4 last sections. Now let's move to the first part. As you know, BIDV has been the top ranked commercial bank in the total asset side in Vietnam, and it provides several kinds of service such as banking, financial investment, insurance, security consulting service. In the financial performance section, there are two analyses, profitability and activity analysis. The former provides a number of important ratios such as return on assets, return on equity, and the net interest margin. About ROA in general, it decreased as the growth rate of net income was larger than that of the total asset. Moreover, ROA of BIDV was lower than the benchmark of 1% to 2% for ROA, which resulted from BIDV huge amount of bad debts and indicate an ineffective lending policy as well as an unreasonable asset structure of BIDV. Similarly, the ROE experienced a decline because equity capital served as the denominator rose significantly in 2019 due to the tremendous amount of capital raising from KEB Hana Bank. Meanwhile, the bad debts prevented the net income from flourishing. Declining ROE suggested the company was becoming less efficient at creating profits and increasing shareholder values when comparing the ROE of BIDV with other banks. Besides, we also created tables for other ratios such as the net interest margin, net non-interest margin, net operating margin, and the earning per share. About the activity analysis, we need to pay attention to several data as listed on the screen. To summarize, all 5 listed ratios here all reduced year over year, showing the diminishing efficiency in operating the BIDV. Considerably, the fund management efficiency served as the financial leverage, decreasing year over year. This might be a good sign of deleveraging when BIDV was trying to decrease its debt. However, as mentioned above, BIDV debts rose over time than the decrease in the total financial leverage was due to an upsurge in equity capital. As a result, BIDV potentially suffer from the dilution of shareholder earnings. In the third part, we mentioned two kinds of risks, interest rate and liquidity risks. To measure the interest rate risk, the analysis of dollar gap was applied, and we can see from the data that BIDV was asset sensitive because its dollar gap was positive during the 3 years. However, the interest rate at that time declined over time and gradually making a contraction in NIM. It was obviously not a good news for BIDV. In the process of completing the report, we found it complicated to apply the duration gap, then we just point out the very basic concept of it. To hedge the interest rate risk, BIDV has implemented numerous tools such as the derivatives as well as issuing the legislation and documentation structure. About liquidity management, from the figures described in the table, the liquidity in the period of 3 years from 2017 to 2019 at BIDV increased positively, which indicated that BIDV was doing good at liquidity management. However, the non-stop increasing liquidity indicated that the bank spent too little on investment and development, which was not good for the growth of the bank. The fourth section provides information about the capital management. Along with the requirement of SBV, BIDV followed two sets of Basel Accord. For the Basel I, we calculated the Tier 1 ratio and the CAR ratio to determine whether BIDV satisfied the adequate capital level or not. As can be seen from the table, the core capital ratio was all larger than 4%, and the CAR ratio during the 3 years was also higher than 9%. then we can conclude that BIDV was adequately capitalized. Here we also point out the CAR ratio of the commercial banking system in Vietnam. After satisfying the Basel I, BIDV was one among 10 commercial banks allowed to apply the Basel I concept by SBV. However, the three pillars made the process of implementing the Basel II difficult and challenging for BIDV. Particularly, the bank has faced some obstacles as mentioned on the screen. However, with the durable endeavor of increasing the charter capital, BIDV has completed the first requirement of Basel II in 2019. In the last part, lending management, you can see in 2019, 96% of the lending amount belongs to the standard rank, and only 4% were ranging in the four remaining groups. To demonstrate the proportion of two lending activities, we listed into two groups: for corporation with nearly 69% and for individuals, 1/3 of the total lending amount. As you can see on the screen, non-performing loan ratio of BIDV went up slightly from 1.62% to 1.9% in the 3-year period. It means the percentage of bad debts over the total debt increased. However, in the banking system, the rates were still acceptable. And that is the end of our presentation, and thank you for watching and listening.